This is Martin Kagan from Before Your Eyes, Data Cocoon. Today we're going to be looking at the visualization for South Africa, specifically over 9 regions, 3 cities in each region, and we are looking at a number of variations. We're first going to look at economic data, followed by some crime data, and then followed by the medical aspect of the data. I don't assure you that I'll get it in the right sequence, but I'm going to do my best. But this will give you a good idea as to the index structure needed to make this happen. In order to do that, we start at base level, which is the Excel version of it, and the metadata file I have indexed. It's 148 line items for the entire South Africa by city designation, by region or municipality. And that will come across very clearly. On top of that, we have got both the name description extended and the new fields that I've added in. I've used the URL fields that we had existing for designating locator designations, such as here you can see PE, and next to it, it's the URL description is actually the geocode exact for each position. I'm hoping that there'll be someone that picks up on this very quickly and says, hold on, we can parlay that and put that into a GIS formatted structure and then get GIS data simultaneously with the grid data within the Before Your Eyes system that we don't have privy to ourselves. It's, as mentioned, it's merely the images that we produce that are covered in the meantime under the license as it stands. And we're happy to share that because it's unique and a wonderful thing. You'll see in the index, I'm just going on a little bit, how the index is structured. I did a pure numeric index. It is the easiest, and actually it was generated completely in AI, in Grok. This entire sheet was done in Grok. So that's open information format, can be done, physically possible, changes the entire playing field, and makes the whole concept viable in that you're able to produce the data sheets, metadata plus the data that would be on the, as you can see in the years that follow it to the right, and that will produce the outcomes that we're going to see. So without further ado, let's look straight into what we're talking about. So here we are looking at, as you can see by the description, prime deaths in South Africa. We're looking at death as an indicator. Could be health-related death. This time I just chose crime. And what we have got here is the 4 racial groups split by the 9 regions, by 3 cities, and a subtotaling within each, or an average of each, relative to the 3 underlying data sets. On the right-hand side, we have the, as you can see, I'm over there at this point, we have the Rose model, which is shallow. There's only 10 years here. But it gives you an indication of the direction of the motion of the data, and you can see highlighted is the hot link for the GIS code, and that is a little added bonus that I created for it to take effect. The bottom data set is obviously dynamically linked, and that is the actual data itself, and all we would do for that is integrate the linked identity, and now you can see it is already dynamically moving as I move across the plane of the Rose model, and both the data field and the building structures are being interwound as a result. But let's look, if I can get there as rapidly as I can, at looking for is this over here, the index structure. This I need to relate to you because it's the easiest way to understand the entire system. A good index obviously makes the system function correctly, and this is the pure index structure that we're talking about. So what we have got are four population groups. Largest will be black, indicated by BL. Sorry, in this case, this is, I need to correct myself, this is the income level of the population, the GDP factor. I switched from crime to GDP. And this shows a predominance of high income in the white community, followed by the Asian community, and then followed by um, black community, and then the colored community. And this we can verify on the Rose model by just seeing the reality of how that pans out. That's the labels speak for themselves. You have, as I said, there's Johannesburg clearly on the high end of the average income per individual. And then you have its regional status followed by the municipal, or vice versa, municipal followed by the regional status of the population itself. So from that we can now switch to something closer. That's the GDP again by the designated zones. I want you to be comfortable that what we're looking at. So this would be Western Cape, as you can read on the top, Stellenbosch, and Lilliputian portion of. Okay, so a pronunciation isn't what it used to be. We can get a grasp very quickly. There's Gauteng, Pretoria, and Johannesburg. So I split the data quite simply into two main cities plus an alternative city in which everything else is lumped to. This can be extended to a number of cities, but to keep things nice and tight and clear, I kept it in this format throughout. We switched now to capita per GDP, and you can see the variation and get comfortable with that concept. What I am looking for, which I'm sure I will find in a moment, is this version here. This is SA HIV index, just the HIV. I've done it for 8 causes of death, and you get a bit of an expansion from this. But here we can, you'll see that the Rose model is indexed as opposed to a single rose. It's classified as the index model on the Rose, and this will be by population, racial designation, in this case, black, colored, white, and Indian and Asian. So handling this data and seeing what we can get from it, we choose this uppercase, which is in this case the blue. The colors are corresponding to obviously the data set there. And then we drill down, and this is the black population relative to HIV occurrences by the 9 regions, by the 3 specified areas, and you can see the rates of occurrence are quite significant and fairly consistent within each. We can try and stratify that a little bit. Let me just see how the data has been set up. But we would be able to set it up by either the top parent. See, that didn't make much difference. That changed it. Or if we really want to see it in and of itself, we would go node, which would be essentially looking at the item line by line in it, broad speaking. So what we have got here is the ability to drill down, and we can go one stage further in this case. These are the 9 provinces, and there's the 3 cities within each, and get that information relative to, in this case, Port Elizabeth, East London, and the urban city of surrounding those 2 main city hubs. And with that said, I think that is essentially a good point to take a break from the system. Thank you for watching For Your Eyes again, and I hope to bring you further information. I hope this was of assistance.